solid might. Get your boots on the ground and fight. The Leon Block. Freedom. Freedom of press. Media. Journalists. Journalism. Words matter. Yo, how's everybody doing today? Welcome back to T. It's your guy, John Tell. You already know what it is. Today, we are not joined by Meg and Chaz. However, we are joined by our friend to the show. You already know who it is. Matt, thank you for joining us.
No problem, John Tell. I'm glad and happy to be here.
You already know what it is, man. Here at the T, we provide news, interviews, commentary, pop culture, politics, music, and more. Nothing is off the table. Things can get spilled when you don't censor a dish. Raw news mixed with resources, mixed with history. We are here to be true, authentic, independent media. What Kool-Aid are you drinking? Because we've got some tea for you. So today, we've got a healthy dose of information that will feed your soul, inform, and educate. And as you can see, this man on the screen, an OG activist from New Bedford. Is that Connecticut or Rhode Island or Massachusetts? Where's that
Massachusetts.
Massachusetts. All right. This brother really spits the truth, and he is powerful. He knows what he's talking about. And a lot of the stuff that he touches on is very important for people to hear and people to soak in. So I felt it very, very necessary to showcase this man's testimony. And I felt it very necessary to also have you come on, Matt, because you shared this with us to provide context and give a little bit of insight on what's been going on today up in your neck of the woods, up in New England. And you just discussed with me that you had witnessed some stuff go down in your town of Fall River. So tell us a little bit about that, and tell us a little bit about New Bedford as well, man.
Well, in Fall River today, there was a drag queen story event that we had take place. And I know how the controversy across the country goes and how some of them do get out of line. I can agree with that. But this one, I know my city, I know my community, and there's nothing wrong with ours. We constantly try to explain to people that there's nothing wrong with it, but yet they come back with all the hate. So the hate has spiraled across, like, out of control across the internet, and our poster flyers have been leaking across social media, and that's caused us to gain a whole bunch of attention across the country. And since we've gained that attention, we've had people show up that I'm sure you've heard of, these neo-Nazi groups like the Proud Boys.
Yep.
Out here in New England, what we have is called NSC 131. They are the Nationalist Socialist Club, and they are extremely anti-Semitic. And when I say anti-Semitic, I'm not talking Kanye anti-Semitic. I'm talking like straight up anti-Semitic.
Right.
Like I've like can fully like confer how bad this is, because
In my head, I can't grasp it because they say New England is so liberal. You know what I mean? Like they say New England is so liberal. In my head, I'm like, I didn't know there was like those kind of racists up there. I thought there
we have that. We have regular branded racism that you see across the country against Black Americans, which it gets whitewashed a lot of the time because we are a liberal, mostly liberal state. But like racism and police brutality happens everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But today, these crazy fascists came out and hung a couple of banners basically saying that our library housed pedophiles, and that, just a whole bunch of other hateful messages. And they were screaming like homophobic slurs at people. And they were chanting their organization number 131 and it's crazy because they were screaming, "Whose streets are streets?"
Oh,
but it's
wow.
like, you're all people that aren't from my city. First of all, yeah, none of them are from my city. First of all, and second of all, why are you screaming a chant that the Black Lives Matter movement uses?
Right.
Because you're like stealing our like vibes, and I don't like that.
Right.
I do not like that at all. One that like I found it kind of comical that they were saying that, because it's like they're not even from here, but they're saying that those streets are theirs. It's like, dude, you're not even from this area of the state. I don't know why you're acting like you own it. But yeah, we had those crazy people there, and the police came out and didn't really do much. Just stood there and watched as these people like grabbed blowhorns and stuck it in our faces. We had a whole bunch of other comrades that came out too, in defense. All different types of groups, and more groups are actually planning to converge next time. I've been talking to somebody on Instagram from an activist from New York that might be heading out here, a Black activist named Relly, that I've been in touch with on Instagram for a while. So he might be coming out here to help us out. So yeah, there was that, and then at one point there was a picture that I had seen that someone had put up on their social media, and it was a picture of these neo-Nazi people flashing a Hail Hitler sign at the police. And I thought that was very, very odd. So like I reposted the picture.
Let me see if I can find it.
That picture was disturbing, to say the least. And the crazy part is, like, the video that was taken by one of the people in the Fall River Pride Committee, Sean Conham, the video that he took was posted on the Fall River Reporter page that has about 80,000 followers, and there's actually more people in the chat on their posts supporting this than there is against it.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know what? I believe it.
It's disturbing, dude.
I see it right here. So everyone, take a look at this.
If you can balloon it, that'd be great. Yeah, this is like, look at that. You can see it. You can see the guy closest to the left right there flashing the straight up Hail Hitler. Yep.
And then
And
this guy,
the police car is right there in front of him. Like, where else are you doing that to? Like, look at the the angle of that. Like, you can tell the angling is directly towards that police cruiser.
it's crazy.
You know?
Yeah. Yep. It's insane. Yeah, man.
Yeah,
So, tell me a little bit about New Bedford before we get into this this story that this OG activist tells us about what's going on in his hood.
little bit of background about David, who showed that video. One thing I didn't know about him is he was actually part of the original Black Panther Party crew of New Bedford in the 70s. I never knew that about him. So I thought that was really interesting knowledge to know about him. But yeah, New Bedford is our sister city. I don't know exactly, like, geographically how far away from Fall River it is. I know it's like in the same county. But what do you want to know about it?
You were explaining basically what you just said.
Oh, all right.
Or yeah, this little introduction
Yeah.
to right, just an introduction to this video to give people some context really quick.
So all right. So context is all right. What I discovered about New Bedford that gives context to the video we're about to see is that back in 1970 there was a major uprising in New Bedford, Massachusetts, between the Black community of New Bedford on the west end and the police. And it was all over a black man whose tail light was smashed in by a police officer, and then he was charged for that broken tail light, even though the officer didn't.
Right.
And it got taken to court. The police officer pretty much won, and it caused major uprisings in the black community in New Bedford. And these uprisings were so bad that it took the National Guard in Fall River at the time to come out to quell the chaos.
Right.
Deep history between our city and New Bedford's is that uprising in 1970.
So, what are the demographics of New Bedford?
The what?
What are the demographics of New Bedford? Like, is it predominantly black, brown, and poor, or is it affluent?
It's relatively the same as, but I can look it up for you if you want. Because I've never actually looked it up. I'm sorry if I don't have that information on hand.
No, you're good. It's just the account of what this man talks about. Maybe it's just like the hood part of New Bedford or something. I don't know what Fall River is like in that sense, but I don't know. He talks about Well, you'll all see, everyone.
Yeah. And plus, there's other videos. Like there was a guy who I believe everyone should look up. His name is Frank. 1 second. Sorry, I'm not so organized. I feel like a lot today.
Good, you're good.
Because this platform is specifically for Black liberation, and I want everybody to look this name up, because if we're going to be fighting for Black liberation, one thing to acknowledge is the Black Panthers, because their existence across the country was monumentous to it.
Hold up, what was that last part?
I said one thing that we should acknowledge is that the Black Panthers' existence was monumentous to Black liberation and Black struggle, because they really fought for values at a militant stance, and it's something that was needed back then and something that's needed now with the way the country is.
That's right. It was needed then, and it's still needed now. And everything you said is nothing but the truth, my brother.
Exactly. His name was Frank Parkey Grace.
What was his name?
Frank Parkey Grace. Frank Grace. From New Bedford, of the New Bedford chapter of the Black Panther Party. which I wish would actually, you know what? My dream was always to see the Black Panthers in every state rise back up.
Word.
Right now is a time where we need that because there's so much Black death and not enough attention paid to it. So
Agreed, man.
one thing that would really, really show that we ain't fucking around is bringing them back out because they were always an integral part of the civil rights movement to begin with.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Let's go ahead and get into this this brother's testimony and explaining his account of what took place and his anger and frustration towards the local police department. So here we go, y'all.
I got an open message to the New Bedford Police Department. New Bedford, Massachusetts Police Department. I mean, I just got a call for some young people that were in an Uber. The Uber gets pulled over by the police, and they claim that the Uber driver supposedly went through stop signs, which I don't believe. But anyway, the Uber driver gets a warning. The black kids inside the Uber are forced by the police to show their IDs and run through their computer. So their name gets put on blast on the police radio, which is monitored by a lot of people. And they get the humiliation. They were in public transportation, did nothing. Were not capable of doing anything wrong because they were in public transportation. It's kind of like if there's somebody in the bus acting up and there's 50 other people in the bus and the bus driver calls the police, are they going to come into that bus, arrest the person, and then ask everybody in the bus to show their ID so that they can run them through the computer? No, that only happens in the black neighborhood and mostly with young black males because that's their target. See, that's their target. And what they do is they tag you with fines that you failed to pay. They tag you with this and that, and you got this minuscule a warrant out for you that you don't even know nothing about. And they know they go around tagging young black males in the community, and then they want a reason to stop you to see if they can bust you on one of those tags. Maybe you forgot to show up to your probation or all that. And as soon as they stop these young black people, the first thing they ask them, are you on probation? Are you on parole? In other words, have we tagged you yet? And that's what they're doing to the black neighborhood, the young black people. And I'm, for one, am sick to death of it. Every time they stop a black person, they'll find the most vicious thing to charge him with. It could be a minor thing, but by the time they're done writing it up as a vicious charge, okay? They did that to me on a false charge that got thrown out of court. But I got 2 newspaper articles in front page because I'm an activist and they wanted to destroy my name to make me look bad. How the hell can you expect young people or anybody to respect the police when the police themselves do not respect the law that they swore to uphold? They break the law when they're in the black community when it comes to stopping people, questioning people. They take away your rights. Now, if I'm in public transportation and the driver of that public transportation vehicle does something illegal, how in the hell does that involve me? Why are you asking me my name? Why you want my ID? Because you're in the black neighborhood, you're fishing. You're fishing for 2 reasons. Finding the tag that you earlier put on the person so that you can lock them up, so that you can put them in your court system and fine them and take more money out of the black community to fund your pipe dreams.
Talk about it.
And you want respect. You tell us respect the law and order. Respect the law. You know, when the law is not applied equally, look at Donald Trump, how many laws he broke. They're still scratching their head. Should we charge him? Should we charge him? If it was my black ass, I would have been charged a long time ago. I'm sick of it, and you all stand by and you take it. And so the verbal one that's willing to verbalize it kind of looks like the crazy one. No, you're the crazy one for taking this bullshit for year after year, decade after decade. They don't pull this shit in the white neighborhood or the affluent neighborhoods where people got money and they got connections and they can fight them back. They only pull that in the poor neighborhoods, in particular the black and brown neighborhoods, and they do that to a certain extent in the low-income white neighborhoods. Because they're cowards. That's what a coward do. That's what a coward would do. A coward would pick the ones he knows that can't fight back and then act like a big man. And I don't care how polite, because they had me on video chat and I heard it, and you were real polite. But you cannot be polite enough when you're violating someone's civil rights. So this message goes out to the New Bedford Police Department, New Bedford Chief of Police, the Mayor, and City Council. Put a stop to this bullshit. You want to stop somebody, you have a legitimate reason. You want to question somebody, you have a legitimate reason. Questioning people that inside a public vehicle, a public transportation vehicle, because the driver of that vehicle allegedly did something wrong, and you're going to question the paying passengers? That's bullshit. You know, and I know it's bullshit. And every time one of you morons, one of you yippee-ki-yay police officers pull someone like me over, someone of you over, our life is in danger. You know, I might be reaching for my ID. You see a gun because you're in fear for your life. And so every time you do that, so Mr. Mayor, City Council, Chief of Police, you should limit the number of times that we are pulled up in our neighborhood, pulled over by the police. If you have a legitimate reason, yes, a legitimate reason. I see you pull people over because they had a light burned out. And yet I see police cars driving around the city with a light burned out. Why don't you pull your own ass over? Give yourself a ticket. It's just an excuse to pull them over and start searching, start hunting. You got any warrants? Are you on probation under your parole? Can I see your ID and run it to your goddamn computer? Respect you. How the hell can you respect? And don't say I don't like cops. I don't like bad cops. I don't like racist cops. I don't like bully cops. I don't like coward cops. But if you're a cop and you're legitimately doing your job and you're not overdoing it, you're not overreacting, you're not trying to be a yippee-yi cowboy, I got no problem with you. Y'all got to remember I wore a police uniform for 8 years. I wasn't a regular cop. I was a special police officer assigned at St. Louis emergency room, but I made arrests and everything. I battled people in there that were acting up and doing crazy because everything that happened in the city ended up in the emergency room. It was a pretty busy beat. Okay, so it's not a matter of not wanting cops to do their job. Do your job. Don't overdo it. And don't be a little coward and come to the poorest neighborhoods that have the less resources to fight you back when you abuse your powers. Why don't you go to the rich neighborhoods where they can get a big, highfalutin lawyer and take your ass to court? You wouldn't dare do that, stinking cowards. I mean, y'all look tough. You got the uniform, the gun. Y'all look tough. Some of you walk tough. Some of you got your mirror glasses on in the summertime. Look at all tough. But you pick those who you're going to go after. You make sure they have the least amount of ability to fight you back. Stopping young black kids in the black neighborhood that are riding in the back of an Uber because the Uber driver violated the law according to you. And yet the Uber driver gets a warning. And these black kids, their names and everything are run through your computer. You looking for something to grab them and put them in your prison and get some fine money and court money and so forth from them. You's a bunch of goddamn news. And then you talk about the Soviet Union? You ought to take a look in the goddamn mirror. You talk about China and the abuses in other places in the world? You've been abusing black people since you began. You began with genocide. You began with slavery. That's the beginning of Genesis. That's your seed. And anything that comes out of a seed, if the seed is wicked, everything that comes out of it is wicked. And you ain't changed. I mean, I'm so sick to death of it. Nothing changes. These cops get away with all kinds of shit in the black neighborhood. All you want to send the black neighborhood is more police. More police. They were even at one point giving police free housing in the black neighborhood because they said the black neighborhood was void of role models. So the free housing that should have went to the poor was being occupied a police officer so we can see a police officer walking around. What kind of stupid, idiotic, imbecilic thinking is that? New Bedford got plenty of black role models. They don't need you to put police in public housing and give them free housing. That was just an excuse to take funds that were earmarked for those people living in poverty and to funnel it to the police department. And all kind of shit like that goes on year and year. And we got cowards up there in City Hall who won't say nothing out of fear of the police union. Okay? And there's only like 300, 400, whatever in the police union, but they're organized, and so they got a little political punch. Let that be a lesson, you people. Let us organize into a group that will vote together if we don't get what we want. And there's a lot more of us than there is them. But they get away with it. And I'm sick of getting phone calls like that stating that I'm pulled over. I'm on such and such a street. Come by. Make sure they don't do nothing. You see, I'm going to tell you what, folk. You are policed differently than we are. If you don't understand why it's hard for black people to respect the police, it's because they don't police us. They patrol us. They hunt us. Okay? They police your neighborhoods. They drive away around your neighborhoods and make sure you're safe. When they're driving around our neighborhoods, they're on a hunting mission, trying to find somebody that they're going to lock up, trying to pull somebody for the smallest little fraction of the law that they themselves do, like pulling you out because your light burned out. I've seen plenty of police cars driving around with one light. They're going to pull them over. Maybe the next time I see it, I'll pull them over. Give them a ticket. I mean, this is bullshit, man. This is really, 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 honest to God, bullshit. And all you cowards, so-called leaders won't say smack because you're so worried about losing a little something that the system's offering you, a little paycheck, little recognition, whatever the hell it is. You won't say nothing. You let them persecute your young people, label your young people, tag them with a criminal record so that they can be discriminated against for the rest of their life. That's what they're doing. They know exactly, because now they can't say we're going to discriminate you because you're blackface. They can't say that without having penalties. So they find another reason. They go around the black neighborhood night and day and night, pulling people over for the littlest infraction of the law, exaggerating, lying, planting evidence, hunting young kids. You're a bunch of cowards. Why don't you go hunt the cartels, the drug cartels? You know, the ones with the machine guns, the ones that are armed just as well as you are. Why don't you go find them? Why don't you go fight them? No, you cowards. You let them bring the drugs into our neighborhood, and the nickel and dime pushers are who you hunt. Because you're a coward. You're a coward. That's why you will pull your gun out on a 12-year child. Tamir Rice, remember? Blow his off the face of earth. Remember Malcolm Gracia? 90-pound kid? Surrounded by New Bedford police officers, shot to death repeatedly. Cameras rolling up there, security cameras that watch us. Suddenly the tape goes missing. Suddenly the tape disappeared. Suddenly the tape got accidentally erased. Huh? And you all going to take that over and over and over again. Okay? I mean, we should be up in arms about a paid police department that we help pay, being used to hunt and tag our young people so that they can ruin their lives with a court record, with a criminal charge, exaggerating, lying on their police reports, planting evidence. I know I've been victim of that. And we stand back and we allow them repeatedly to do that to our young people and say nothing. I'm so tired of being the only voice in the city of New Bedford that'll stand up and fire back without, I gotta be careful what I say because I'm depending on my job. I'm depending on the funding I'm getting from the devils. So I can't say it like you say it. That's cowardice too. And the blood of these kids are on your hands too, just as much as the cops, the gangs, and everybody else. They're on your hands because of your cowardice. Because you saw them out there in need and you made off, you didn't see. You didn't want to be seen with them because, they got the system don't like them. They're the enemy number one in the system. Black youth, brown youth, they've been marked for elimination. Okay? They're attacking children. And then they'll get on the TV and complain, Russia did this, Russia that. Shut up. Shut up. And you're the reason why Russia's doing what they're doing in Ukraine. Because you wanted to put weapons over there right on Russia's back door. You wouldn't let Russia put weapons in Cuba. Remember the Cuba crisis in the 60s?
Talk about it.
When you were threatening to blow Cuba off the face of the earth and surrounding Cuba and letting that food or anything come in or out of Cuba? Remember that? And why? Because Russia was putting weapons in Cuba. And you said, hell no. But you can do it to Russia. You can go to Ukraine and arm them and make an ally of them. Tell them to join the European Union and whatever they're NATO. And you can do that, and Russia's supposed to be good to you. You're the hypocrites. You're hypocrites. Hypocrites. You want to tell our kids to do this, do that, and the thing, and you're the biggest liars, biggest hypocrites that there is on the face of the freaking earth. And you think it's all squeaky clean because you got a uniform on? Some of the wickedest people on the earth seek a uniform, a police uniform, a uniform of authority, a badge of authority, an office of authority, so that they can use it to abuse other people. Okay? So the general population needs to keep check of these police officers and eliminate them as soon as they show their ugly head. Yeah, I know my statements right now are going to make me a target. I've already been a target of you. You've already attacked me several times, made reports about me, lied and shit, trying to destroy me. I had a chance to spend the rest of my life in jail because of your freaking lies. Thank God that somebody in the court looked at this and said, get the hell out of here. Get this shit out of the court. Didn't even have to go to the front of a judge. Goddamn lies. And I'm supposed to forget. I remember from my childhood the abuse I took at the hands of police. Okay? And it's going on for my grandchildren. And it'll go on for my great-grandchildren and the rest of y'all black people, especially you who claim to be a spokesperson or a leader, sit back and say nothing. But when judgment comes for these things, guess what? You're going down with them. You're going down with him because you didn't say nothing. You just allowed it to happen. You even sided with those, to get a little pat on the head, maybe get a little a reward from massa. So you kept your mouth shut. Disgusting. I mean, I'm so pissed off because I'm sick of it. Sick of it. Young people telling me stories about how they were abused by the police, how they were stopped and pulled over and humiliated, laid down in the middle of the street, and they did nothing. End up saying, okay, you can go on your way. After you humiliated them, after you wanted to impress in their little minds, that their young minds, their youthful minds, that we're the boss. We can do anything. You better respect us. You don't demand respect, you earn it. And in my book, you never have earned respect from the black community, police officers, and those of you in authority. You're all a bunch of liars, a bunch of thieves, a bunch of murderers. I'll never respect you, ever. Now, there may be a individual police officer that I got respect for. Once I get to know them and I know that they're doing the right thing and not trying to abuse anybody, really trying to do the job the way it was meant to do, I got respect for those. But they're too few and too far in between, okay? Too few, and I mean, I've been an activist since 1963. Since 1963, fighting this shit, and nothing's changed. And now it's even worse today than it was in my day. Because in my day, if you kept abusing us like that, we'd burn your goddamn city down. Today, they got the young people all disassembled. Everybody's fighting each other, West Side and I said, you think that's an accident? West Side, South Side, Crips, Bloods fighting each other, Latin Kings. You think that's an accident? That's done purposely. That's done purposely. A lot of the crimes perpetrated against other gang members that are pinned on the other rival gang are done by the police or an agent of the police to get things revved up so that we can't organize the youth to fight back like we did in the 60s because they're too busy fighting each other. Because I know in my day in the 60s, we burnt this sucker down. New Bedford was in flames, and I'm proud to say that I was one of the ringleaders of that. That Save Brother television program that they did about it back in the day, I was front and center right in that documentary. We weren't scared to fight back. They fired at us, and we fired back at them. They had to call the National Guard. They had to call for a truce. Okay? But it's hard to organize people today because they have flooded our neighborhood with weed. They have flooded our neighborhood with drugs. They have put a package store on every corner. because they know under stress, people turn to those things for relief. Even though they're not any relief in the long term, they make matters worse. But people want immediate relief from the stress that they're under. And so all these package stores and bar rooms and weed all and flooding our neighborhood is an easy reach. And too many of us are falling prey to that. You don't see that shit in the well-to-do neighborhoods, do you? Do you? Take a walk up Hawthorne Street in New Bedford. Tell me how many bars you see there. How many package stores you see. Huh? How many? You tell me. Talk to me. But you won't find very many, if you find any. And I don't think you'll find any. Okay, let me bring it back to where I started. I was upset because some young people called me up, said they were pulled over by the police because they were in an Uber. The police claimed the Uber went through the stop sign. That ain't why they stopped them. They saw young black people in the back of that Uber. And they needed an excuse to pull that Uber over. And so they said the driver of the Uber went through the stop sign, yet they don't give the driver a ticket. But they question the people in the back, the black kids in the back seat, more than they question the driver. And they were polite about it because I was on video chat watching the whole shit. But I don't care how polite you are, police officers. If you're violating my rights, that politeness is a cover for you breaking the law that you swore to uphold. So I want somebody to get this message to the chief of police, the city councils, and the mayor of New Bedford. I know they don't listen to me. They don't like me. And I don't give a two shits if they like me or not. They haven't done nothing about this problem. All they want to give us is police, prison cells. How about giving us some college money so we can send our kids to university? How about that? How about building some recreational centers, real top of the line recreational centers, not just a basketball game or court, because you think that's all we do is play basketball? A real recreational center equipped with computers, equipped with exercise, equipped with all that. How about that? How about that? How about giving money to people so that they can afford a mortgage? Give them a real discount on the interest rate instead of giving billions of dollars to the housing authority throughout the years. Billions of dollars. And look at what we got. We got paper houses that they make as cheap as possible because they know, well, we're building it for the house authority. Nobody gives a shit. Overcrowded situations. They build a big project where they have a billion people living together, close quarters, and then they say there's problems there. No wonder. You know, how about you living in those crowded conditions, okay? Where when somebody flushes their toilet, it wakes you up. And you're in the apartment next door. You try living like that, huh? You try living like that. And it's getting worse, people. See, they're running out of the need for us black folk. You see, they're importing people that they can abuse, new people, and use them for cheap labor, work them like dogs. I think in New Bedford, one of the immigrants, poor Hispanic man, died on the wharf because he was overworked. He was asking if he could take a break, wouldn't let him break, and he died. Okay, and so they got a new group of people that they can abuse. Well, instead of us getting mad at those people like they're taking our job, then they have them freaking goddamn job. Let's stop making businesses, starting businesses. Let's create our own jobs so we're not beholden to anybody and don't have to kiss anybody's ass. Let's go get some training like you're a nurse, you're an RN, you're an EMT, you're a paramedic. Get some training so if the job's available and you got the license, they've got no choice but to give you the goddamn job. Let's do that so we don't have to kiss the asses of our oppressors, okay? And we don't have to sweeten up our words to satisfy them. I'm sick of it, man. I'm sick of being the lone voice in New Bedford. And I've been the target of everybody in power. I've been the target of police. I've been criticizing the press, slandered and completely destroyed in the press based on false bullshit from the New Bedford Police Department. And I still try to speak up. And I turn around, I look, ain't nobody behind me. Because I ain't got nothing to offer you. I know I can't give you a fancy job, a fancy title. I can't create something for you. You see, I'm just a regular black guy struggling to help my family and my immediate friends and stuff. Struggling, doing what I can with what I got. and still finding time to do this work in the community. But when I look back, I either see faces that are behind me that are ready to slam me on behalf of Massa. Many a times I was ready to go. I was one time the mayor, a beautiful young lady in the South 10, he was a victim of a home invasion. And there was a lot of rumors and shit going on. And the city did nothing. I was down the week before it happened in the city. I said, look, man, you got to get on the ball. Something's up. Something's up. I've been hearing this. I'm hearing a lot of chat out there. Something's up. And I went there. They just dismissed me. No, we got everything. Everything's going. Like I had no right to even give my opinion to them. Like I was a bother to them. Well, then when that happened, when the young lady lost her life, the next day, the mayor, I'm walking down the street in the West End. I see the mayor. And I see all kind of reporters and TV cameras up there. And a bunch of Negro opinion leaders, you know, the ones that, can you give me your money? Can you give me a position? I'll do anything, say anything. They were all lined up. And I saw it, and I started heading there. And all the Negro opinion leaders, all the sellout leaders came running to me. Oh, no, Dave, don't mess this up, us. Don't. They were trying to stop me going up there to confront the mayor. Well, they didn't succeed. I went up there confronting the mayor, and guess what? Guess was it? All the coverage, the news cover on the TV and on the newspaper was all about me with my finger in the face of the mayor, telling him that I was in your office a couple of days ago and told you something was going on. I didn't know quite what, but I'm getting all kind of chatter and shit like this, and you threw me out your office. You didn't throw me out, but you told me, like, go away. Man, we got people on there, man. We ain't heard nothing like that, blah, blah. And then the next day you want to be here with the reporters taking your picture like you're the concerned mayor. You don't give a shit about the black neighborhood until it comes to vote. None of these politicians do. They're not angry like I'm angry. And why not? They're getting paid. I'm not getting paid. And they're not as angry as me. They should be more angry. They are paid leaders of your community, and they sit back when your kids get blown off the face of the earth, either because of street violence or at the hands of the police, and they sit there and stay little. Very little. Sometimes they're forced to say something. They can't get away without saying something in certain situations. But what they say is so weak and pitiful. You might as well have kept your mouth shut. And then when a strong black lady comes up and says it like it is, they want to try to poo-poo him and want to tell him, shut up, and then weaken what he said in the press later. That's happened to me a number of times. Okay, I vented. I'm sorry. I haven't had to have vent like that, but it just pissed me off that today, in this day and age, it's still going on. They're still trying to convince these people that Black life matters. I'm telling you, people, if they don't know your life matters by now, if they don't know the life of your children matter by now, they will never know it. Stop wasting energy trying to convince them. Stop building up organizations, forces of every kind, financial, self-defense, organizations that speak out on your behalf. And show them that your life and the life of your children matter. Show them that your children are not their prey. That your children, you can give birth to your children for a wicked, racist police department to use them as their game, to go hunting them, tagging them, putting them in the prison system for little or no reason. While the rich and the mighty rich get away with murder, get away with trying to overthrow the government. The rich, the poor ones that believe what the scumbags would say and went to jail. But the leaders, they're free as can be. The senators, the president that took part in it, they're free as a bird because they're above the law. And so don't respect this law. You don't need to. Peace.
Wow.
Powerful.
He said it all. He
Powerful.
said it all. Yeah.
I've got two other clips I sent to you that's relative to that. One of them is about 5 minutes or 6 minutes long, and the other one's a good half hour.
All right, let me find the one that's a few minutes because we got a few minutes left.
All right. It's
and
the
I
one
think
about
this-
Frank. The one about Frank.
Yeah. Yep. Awesome. Perfect. And I remember seeing this too.
I love this clip. When I found this, dude, this made me cry seeing this. You know,
Yeah.
just brings some type of emotion to your eyes, to your face. This was the leader of the New Bedford Black Panther Party in the 70s. You gotta go into it with the sound.
There's no sound.
There should be sound.
It says video has no sound.
Yeah, it says that, but it does have sound. It's strange. It should be there anyway.
Yeah.
Unless
I thought you were like providing commentary.
Unless it's
But
copyrighted.
Maybe. Damn.
Can you pull up Instagram on your computer there?
Yeah.
Because I can send you the video via Instagram. I put it on my Instagram,
Sure can.
and that has sound. So let me see. 1 second.
Is it on YouTube, perhaps?
I don't think so, actually. The 30-minute one is, but I don't think that one is. Give me 1 second. Actually, what I put on Instagram has it sound. Share. Copy. Send it from Roger to myself and then from myself to you because I'm in the middle of the stream. Alright. Send from me. Surprised that doesn't have a sound.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm kind of bummed about that.
Alright, here we
But,
go. Try this one. I
right,
just sent
right.
it to you.
Awesome sauce. All right, everyone. So let's try this one.
This is a war against the police. They are being murdered by military terrorists. We want to deal with this national threat. The press, the groups, the urban guerrilla, the organizations which are mounting this nationwide war on law officers must be discovered and punished before the fabric of this nation is seriously damaged or destroyed. Because of the violent actions of the leadership of the New Left, FBI officials concluded that some additional effort must be made to neutralize and disrupt this revolutionary movement. It was brought about by the media and by different government agencies portraying us as terrorists. Just like in South Africa, see Nelson Mandela. He was once a terrorist. And in actuality, he was him and the black South Africans, they were the ones being terrorized. You know, like in Vietnam, that's another example. Called the Viet Cong, communists, et cetera, and they were terrorists, and they were killers. In actuality, they were peace-loving people fighting for their land. We formed and got together, organized to educate people, and that's what this government had a hard time with, because we were educating people. They said we were racist, which is totally untrue. The Panther Party was the first organization in this country ever to get all different peoples together, all different groups.
Okay.
They tried to make it look like it was just a manly thing, a bunch of gangsters, when in fact the party was mostly young people, and the leadership of the party was mostly female, young females. So, people said that was a misconception. The guns were out terrorizing people, when in fact the guns came into play after the police came in kicking in doors. You had a young man, Fred Hampton, and another brother named Mark Clark, who were assassinated, murdered by the Chicago police. They were directed by CIA and the FBI. And their doors were kicked in, and they were assassinated. Other people in there were wounded. So you came up with a mandate that we will be armed. We will be armed, and we will defend ourselves. You know, and that's like human rights. United Nations, they have special charters that deal with that there. People have a right and a duty and obligation to defend yourself, your homes. So it wasn't until we were attacked, many of us murdered, a lot of bad things happened, that we had to defend ourselves. But their weapons were used for defensive purposes. Our goal was to educate, organize, and mobilize people all over this country.
The federal government, through 4 administrations, were running a terrorist program against dissent. Literally a terrorist program, a major terrorist program. I mean, it began against the Communist Party back in the 50s. Under Kennedy, it really took off. Maybe the Panthers were the most viciously attacked. At the time, we now know a lot from released documents. At the time, according to the FBI, the Panthers had 800 members. But they were devoting enormous efforts to destroy the party because it was doing things like running free breakfast programs in churches and things like that.
This is a war against the police. They're being...
Yep, everything in that is so true. I like how this was so condensed into honoring this man, but also speaking to what the Black Panther Party was and what they did for America, even down to the fact that they started free lunch programs, and what we got to eat in school was implemented by the Black Panthers. The Black Panther Party.
From what I read about Frank is that he was framed for a murder he did not commit, and sentenced for that murder on a wrongful death that he didn't even cause. And I think it was around 2001, 2002, he died from complications to cancer, and there was a huge memorial that the NAACP came out for, if I remember correctly.
Wow. So rest in peace, Frank Parkey Grace. Matt, thank you for joining us on T. It's always a pleasure having you, and always providing insight, education, and uplifting Black lives, and educating everyone on the history that we all of us should know about our own history, because it's not just Black history, it's American history. So it's everybody's history. And so we need to educate ourselves on it. Again, thank you for being on the show, and of course you're welcome back again. We'll sure without a doubt have you on again. Everyone, you've been tuning in to T. Make sure you share this stream, and if you can, donate to our show. Yes, thank you so much. You can donate via the links at the bottom of the screen. If you'd like to contact us, you can reach out to us at the links at the bottom of the screen. And we look forward to hearing from you, whether it's via email, text, messenger, and we love the shout outs and networking connections. So share this stream, y'all. All right, everyone, have a good night.